Good morning, brothers and sisters. Today I'm going to show you how to prep and spray a part in the fiberglass department for it to be a finisher. So this video is only going to be dealing with the prep and spray of this part. And I'm going to walk you guys through the process of how to prepare this part. This is a top cap that I'm working on, and I'm going to walk you guys through the process of what to do to prep it before we spray it. And this is the part I'm going to be working on. The top cap is flipped upside down. I'm going to be preparing all this with Bondo until all of this is leveled. Then I'm going to sand the inside of here with an 40 grit to take away any sharp fiberglass pieces that you see inside the mold. And we're going to make it look nice and pretty before I flip it over and do the top side. Okay? Okay, so like I said, we're about to prep for this part. And what we're going to use today, we're going to be using our DA, we're going to be using 80 grit and Bondo, right? So what we're going to do, I'm going to take some of this Bondo. Then I'm going to be mixing the Bondo with the hardener that we have. And we're also going to need a spatula. So I'm probably going to use a smaller one. So what we do, take our hardener. We're going to spread some of it on it. Then we're going to mix it. We're going to mix it well. Before applying it onto the part. And that should do it. So then what I do, I'm going to take the Bondo, take the scrape it on, and we're going to apply it to the part. And the purpose of this is to even out all the edges on this part so that when it goes onto where it needs to go onto, it will be nice and level. And we do this all around the edge where you see gaps. And again, the main reason why we're doing this is to make it all level. To the part, right? Because as you see, around the edge, there's a dent that's all around the perimeter. So we're going to keep taking the Bondo. And we're going to keep spraying it on the edge. And we're going to keep applying it all around. And I'm going to come back and show you the final, how it finally comes out after I apply it all. And in a minute. Okay everybody, so as you see, I am done placing all the Bondo all around the edge of the part. And again, the reason I'm doing this is to fill in all gaps to make this all level, right? Now, in the back of the piece, I've noticed a loose spot right here. And as you see, the gel coat separated from the fiberglass. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get the Dremel and I'm going to remove at least all of this off of the part and repair it. Then I'm going to place Bondo over it and make it level. Okay? That's going to be the next step I'm going to do to prepare the part for spray. And I'll be right back. So, like I was telling you, we're going to repair this back piece. As you see, the gel coat separated from the fiberglass, right? So we're going to take the Dremel, which is this, okay? See, around the edge part, you put it like in a little angle, so when I place the Bondo on this piece, it's going to stick. And that's the other reason why I also Dremeled this part, to make it more rough, so that when I place the Bondo on it, it's going to stick onto the part good. And like I said, I'm going to put the Bondo and it's going to all level out. And it's going to come out looking beautiful. I'll show you the result after I'm done putting the Bondo on so you can see for yourself. Okay. So as you see, I applied the Bondo to the part that I just Dremeled with the Dremel, right? I put this on about 10 minutes ago to show you people how fast the Bondo actually takes before it dries, right? So it takes about 10 minutes. So you roughly have to put this on pretty fast, just like the whole ring that I just put the Bondo on. You have to be pretty quick and fast with it because the Bondo does dry fast, right? So now the next step I'm going to do, since I put the Bondo on the back piece and all around the ring, remember to make everything level, I'm now going to use the DA on my little workbench. We're now going to use the DA and we're going to use the 80 grit to now sand off all the Bondo that I placed to even it out and smooth it out. And another reason why I'm going to sand it with the 80 is so when I am ready to spray, the gel coat is going to stick to the surface a lot more easy for my spraying. So this part is all that's left to do is sand down this part, sand down that, and then this part will be ready to spray. So I'm going to sand it and show you exactly what I did and how it looks, and then wait for the next video. Alright, as you see, I just got finished sanding it down with the 80 and it's nice and smooth. Everything is filled in, and if you noticed, all around the edge it was about this far in, but as you see, after sanding everything down, all around the edge fell in perfectly. Beautiful, right? So everything is around the ring nice and even. And again, even for the back side, as you see, this is the spot. I filled it in with Bondo. Now it looks perfect. But now, noticing from the side, when you look at the side, you can see ripples, meaning that this surface is not completely flat. So what I'm going to have to do is dicum all this back, sand it, and I'm going to show you the gaps so you people can see what needs to be filled in. Because remember, all this has to be leveled. So when I come back, I'm going to show you the dicum, and then I'm going to sand it, and we're going to see all the spots that are uneven. And then I'm going to have to fill in all those spots with Bondo also to make sure this whole surface is even. Now, for people who don't know what dicum is, it's a blue liquid that helps us identify spots, blemishes, holes, scratches on the surface. So what I'm going to do now is wipe this whole back part with this rag on the surface and cover this whole back part until it turns all blue. As you see so. Hold on. So I'm going to wipe it all on the back of the surface. Like I said, this is going to help us identify scratches, uneven marks, and things of that nature, right? And as you see, at the spot that I actually sanded, it's actually a lot darker because I sanded it with the 80. This is all smooth, so it's just smoothly wiping on. But on this surface, it's coming out a lot rougher and a lot darker, right? And then after I cover this whole stuff with the dicum, I'm then going to sand it to show you, brothers and sisters, the uneven parts of this back piece, of this part. Okay, so I'm done sanding the back piece, taking the dicum off, and as you people see these blue marks, right? This lets me know that this is unleveled, meaning I'm going to have to put Bondo on all the parts that we see that are blue. This is light, so I'm going to have to put light Bondo. But as you see, this, as we start going down towards the middle, the marks are much darker, meaning I would have to put a lot of Bondo here to make it even. Also here, and as you see throughout the whole part. See, so as we look at the back, we can see how a lot of it was uneven when it came out of the mold. So now what I'm going to do is put Bondo over all of the blue part and then sand it down, put the dicum all over the part again, sand it down, and we'll see how it's going to look after I do that. But I'm going to go to lunch first, and I'll be back after lunch to show you the end result of this. Okay, I'm back from lunch, and just like I said, see how I placed Bondo all in the back pieces here, as you see, right? Before, this was all covered in blue, all the blue spots. Now what I'm going to do next, I'm going to take the dicum again and wipe out the whole back piece. And then I'm going to use this sander. And this is what helps me identify if the surface is level, to make that back part leveled out, right? So we're going to take the dicum again, and we're going to wipe it all down, all over again. This whole part, right? And I'm going to put dicum all down. And then after that, I'm going to sand it with the sander again that I just showed you. And all this should be leveled out with this. Okay? Be right back to show you the end result in a few minutes. Okay, so as you brothers and sisters see, finally done. As you see, all the patches, but now the surface is completely even and smoothed out. Now this part, this whole part is ready for spray. So tomorrow I'm going to come in, we're going to flip this part over. I'm going to prep the top part for spray, and you guys can see the process tomorrow. Good morning everyone. So as you see, we finally flipped over the top cap, because yesterday, as you know, we were working on the bottom all around the ring, and this part is ready for spray. So we're gonna have to, and you see that I built a barrier with the blue tape to cover around all the area that I'm going to paint, from bottom at least up to this area, right? All the way around. So this part is ready for spray. When I come back, I'm going to show you the final process of how to cover the top part for spray, because we don't want to spray this. We don't want to spray this. We only want to spray what's under the blue line. So when you come back, you're going to see exactly what I do, the tape and the plastic to cover it up, and show you how the part is going to look just before the spray. And as you see, go to the back. You have the line all the way up here, right? And this is the part of the back piece that we were working on. I was working on yesterday. So we're gonna paint from down all the way down to the bottom, the whole back piece also. Okay, we're back. And as you see, now the part is ready for spray. We covered the top to protect it from any paint getting on it. And what I want you guys to notice here is I took a tape, rolled it up, and then placed a tape over it to hold it in place. Now the reason for doing so is so that when I'm spraying, it won't leave a hard line. Basically, the line would feather in and make it easier for when I sand this part down. It's going to make it a lot easier for me to erase the line that I'm about to create from spraying. Okay? So like I said, the whole part is covered, and we're about to get into the process of spraying. And as you see here, I have 5 cups of a, hold on, 5 cups of a white gel coat that we're going to use, because you see the part is white, so we're going to use a white gel coat. And to harden the paint, we're going to use the MEKP 925, right? There it is. This is what we're going to use to mix in, and we're going to use this. I poured some of the MEKP into this thing, and we're going to fill it up to the line. I would say anywhere about 15 to 20 cc. All right, I'm going to put it around, I would say about 20. We're going to pour it to the cup. And then we're going to mix the MEKP into the white gel coat for about a minute. Then we're going to take this cup and pour it into my spray gun, right? And then we're going to start the spray. And I'm going to show you how I spray just for a little bit, and then after that I'm going to cut it off and show you the end result of after the spray job is done. Like I said, we're going to keep mixing. Get around the roller, get around, get against the walls. Make sure you mix it good so that the paint will stick to the surface. And we also got to make sure we have acetone in our jar, so after we're done cleaning, we can clean out the spray gun using the acetone before I add any more paint into my gun. And you have to do this before every single cup. If you don't clean your spray gun, what will happen is that this gel coat and the hardener will harden up in this area and even in the spray, and it can mess up my spray gun. Meaning I will have to buy a new spray gun because the hardener will basically clog up all the holes for my spray gun. So it's very important that after each cup we thoroughly clean, pour it in here, spray it out to make sure all the white gel coat from the previous cup is sprayed out so it won't harden and mess up my gun, right? So we're done mixing. Pour it in the cup. And what I do, I always start from corner and I go all the way around the piece. And the very first coat, we're going to spray it very lightly so that the paint sticks. And like I said, this is the very first spray, so we're doing this very lightly so that the next time we come out, I'm going to spray a lot thicker. So the reason I'm spraying it light is so that when my next spray comes in, it will stick to the surface a lot more. But as you see, very lightly, I'm taking away all the marks from the back piece, spraying it. And I'm going to continue this all the way around the part. And like I said, after I'm done, I'm going to show you the end result of what it looks like. Alright, so I just got done finishing the spray, and as you see, it came out beautiful, came out nice. Everything is painted on the part now. So the next step is we're going to wait for the paint to dry, which is going to take about 45 minutes to an hour. Then I'm going to wipe down everything I painted off with acetone, and then I'm going to cover the whole part with Dykem, and I'm going to sand the top and the whole top part with 600 grit sandpaper. And after I come off a break, I will show you what it's going to look like after it's all covered in Dykem, and then I'm going to start sanding this whole piece with 600 grit. Okay, as you see, I Dykemed the whole part, and if you notice, I put a blue tape all around this area here, and the reason for doing so is that when I have the DA and I'm sanding, that the sandpaper will not damage the gel coat here. So this is why I have the blue tape here, to protect this layer from the sandpaper when I'm sanding. And you also notice from where I sprayed, you can clearly see the line, right? All down, like I said. And as I showed. So now the next step is to sand this whole part with the 600 grit. Then, after sanding it with the 600 grit, I'm going to put the Dykem all on it again and then sand with 800. And then after that, I'll show you how it comes out after I sand it all down with the 800 before I stop the final process, which is the buffing and finishing. Meaning I'm going to make this whole part look even more shinier than it's looking right now. Because you'll see after I sand it with 6 and 800, it's no longer going to look shiny. And again, the reason why we put in the Dykem on is to help us identify areas. So as you see, we have a dent here and a dent here. You couldn't see this without putting the Dykem on, but now since the Dykem is on, you can actually see it. You can see blemishes, scratches, pinholes, scratches all over. Look at this big scratch here that I have to remove. Okay, so the Dykem helps us identify scratches, dents, and stuff like that. So that's the reason why we Dykem the whole part, and we're going to sand it down with 600 to remove all those blemishes, spots that we just saw, scratches. Then we're going to put the Dykem on again, sand it with 800, and after that it'll be ready for buffing, and this part will be finished and look beautiful. Okay, so I finally sanded off all the 800 and 600 grit off of the part. Now I am buffing and finishing the part, and as you see, I've already started at the top part. So we're going to make this whole part look all nice and shiny, and then I will be done and I will show you what the product looks like when it's all finished. Alright, so the part is now finished, and look how gorgeous she looks. Woo! Beautiful. All nice and leveled, all nice and shiny, nice and beautiful. And this part is finished. And these are the things that I use. You first have to buff it with the coarse cut paste compound. And what this helps you do is take out any scratches that may have been left over from the 600 and 800 grit sandpaper. Then I apply this on the second round, which is the premium liquid compound, and this one is basically what makes this beautiful shine come out on the part. And then I had to buff it a third time with the gel coat finishing compound. And what this does is, if any remaining scratches, any little scratches that were made, it will help fill it in and also give it a nice shine and help protect everything I just did. So again, this is the final product. I hope you people enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up. See you next time.